So today we're going to be doing 5.7, completing the square. And completing the square is basically the process of finding the last term of a perfect square trinomial. And so we're going to start off easy with this equation, and this is a perfect square equation. So the first step in doing this equation is factoring the trinomial. So we're going to see what multiplies to 16 but adds up to 8. So the answer is 4. So x plus 4 squared equals 25. Okay, so first, to do this, we have to square both sides to get rid of the exponent. Square, and so then the squared crosses off this, and then you get left with x plus 4 equals 5. But when it equals 5, it's not just 5, it is x equals plus or minus 5. So then, when you have a plus or minus, you get two answers. So x plus 4 equals negative 5, and x plus 4 equals 5. So minus 4 from this side, x equals negative 9, and minus 4 from this side, and x equals 1. So you have two answers for this perfect square trinomial equation. Okay, so the next equation we will be dealing with is completing the square. And so, next one is completing the square. And in completing the square, the goal is to find the missing value. So, the key point. And so, we will be using the equation b over 2 squared. So basically b is this one, and you will be plugging into this to find this answer. So we will be plugging in negative 4 over 2 and square it. So negative 4 over 2 is negative 2, and negative 2 squared is a positive 4. So the answer to this right here is 4x squared minus 4x plus 4. And that is the answer. So this next section we're going to be doing is solving by completing the square. So we have this equation here, and first of all, we always use the equation b over 2 squared. So in this case, b is negative 14. So negative 14 over 2 squared. So negative 14 over 2 is negative 7, and negative 7 squared is 49. So we're going to rewrite this equation, but we're going to move negative 5 across the equation. Negative 5 over here. Okay, so the reason why we do this is because when we minus negative 5, because there's a 0 right here. Okay, so next we're going to be adding 49 to both sides of this equation right after 14 and negative 5 to complete the square. So x squared minus 14x plus 49 equals 5 plus 49. Okay, so first we're going to look at this half of the equation. So what multiplies to 49 but adds up to negative 14? So what is that? That is negative 7. So negative 7 squared equals negative 5 plus 49, which is 45. So we're going to square root this side to get rid of this exponent, and we're also going to square root this side. So let's get rid of that. So x minus 7 equals, so let's see, I'm pretty sure there's no square root for 45. Let's see. Actually, there is. If you can't see right there, it is the square root of 45 is 3 square root of 5 equals plus or minus 3 square root 5. So then we're going to move 7 over to this side. We get x equals 7 plus or minus 3 square root 3 square root 5. And so when we have an equation like this, it's the end. Ring-a-ding-ding. Okay, so the last equation we're going to be doing today is when a does not equal 1. And so when a does not equal 1, that means that the coefficient in front of the x squared is not 1. So, for example, we will be using the equation 3x squared equals 6x plus 9. So obviously, as you can see, there is a 3 in front of x squared, and we can't solve this equation until we get x squared to equal 1. So we divide 3 by each term. So we get x squared equals 2x plus 3. And we're going to put 2 on this side so we can get the equation in the right order. Equals 3. So then, this looks like our other equations. We're going to be using the equation b over 2 squared. So b in this instant is negative 2. Negative 2 over 2 is 1. And 1 squared is just 1. So x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 3 plus 1. So if I'm going a little too fast, basically what I did was use this equation, plugged in b, and I got 1. And we add 1 to each side so we can complete the square. So what number times itself to get 1 but adds up to negative 2? Negative 1 equals 4. So we square root both sides. This cancels out and square root this side. X minus 1 equals 2. Since square root of 4 is a perfect square, we get 2. So then we can just solve this very nicely to see. So this equals plus or minus 2. So we're going to get two equations. X minus 1 equals 2. X minus 1 equals negative 2. Plus 1 plus 1. X equals 3 and plus 1 plus 1, and x equals negative 1. So these are 2 answers for this equation. Thank you for listening to my videos.